I'm now trying to record this video for like the 5th time, so give me strength, please. Anyway, I'm reviewing A Court of Mist and Fury today, blue lipstick as promised. Oh my goodness guys, I loved this book so much. I did a spoiler-free review for the first one because I like doing spoiler-free reviews, but there's a lot of stuff that happened in this book that I really want to talk about, so I'm sorry, I have to give spoilers. So if you haven't read the book, then please don't spoil it by watching this. Go read the book and then come and hear my thoughts and we can have a little discussion about it. So basically, if you haven't read it and you are allowing yourself to get spoilers, or if you have read it and just need a bit of a refresher, at the end of the first book, Feyre broke the curse on the Spring Court, rescued Tamlin. They've now gone back to the Spring Court, she's living with him, everyone's fine and dandy and happy. She made a deal with Rhysand that for a week every month she would go to the Night Court, and he's mostly left her alone. It's been 3 months and she hasn't heard anything from him, she hasn't felt anything through their like fancy little bond thing. I think it's on her left hand, yeah, it's on her left hand. She hasn't felt anything through the bond. She's like, yes, he's forgotten, except she knows he probably hasn't forgotten. So he leaves her, lets her chill, and then interrupts her wedding. It was just so classic him, like, oh, it was great. In fairness, she really doesn't want to get married, so she's like internally screaming for help, and that's when he decides to pop into the wedding, try to rescue her. He takes her back to the Night Court, she stays there for a week, still like hates him. He sends her back, he comes back to fetch her. She kind of slowly starts to realise that he's not as bad as she thought. And in amongst all of this, Tamlin is being completely overbearing at home. Like, he won't let her do anything. He won't let her go outside unsupervised. He won't even really let her wander around the castle unsupervised. He won't let her talk to people or go places or do anything. She was a restless enough soul when she was human. Now that she's high fae and she has all these abilities, she wants to test them out, and he's just not letting her, and he's just trapping her in this place. And eventually he does physically trap her. He shields her in the house, and she is done. Like, she's done. So Morrigan from Rhysand's court rescues her from the house, takes her back to the Night Court, and eventually, through meeting the inner circle at the Night Court, through realising how much she loves them, she decides that she is done with Tamlin and she's pretty sure she's going to stay in the Night Court for a while. So obviously in this book there is a lot more world building because we get to see the Night Court, which I think is probably one of my favourite fictional worlds and just one of my favourite fictional groups of people because the inner circle are so great. We also get to see the Summer Court, which was really interesting. It was just described so beautifully and so fully, and the same with the Night Court. Her writing is so descriptive and I just had such a vivid image in my mind of what these places looked like. I could see the sights, I could smell the smells, I could hear the noises. It was just so real for me. We also meet some new characters in this book. We meet Rhysand's inner circle at the Night Court, so that's his cousin Morrigan, his 2 best friends, Azriel and Cassian, and Amren, who is not a fairy, but she is another winged creature, and a lot of people have a suspicion that she might be a dragon. Apparently it gets revealed in the last book what she is, and I'm quite keen. I do wish she'd spent more time fleshing out the secondary characters. They're there and they're whole and they're good enough, and we learned some of their backstory, which I liked, but I really would have liked to see more of it. And then the main characters obviously develop a lot more in this as well. Feyre is learning to deal with her new powers as a high fae. She's learning that she's not only stronger and faster and more beautiful than she was as a human, but she also potentially has a bit of power from each of the 7 High Lords, because when they resurrected her they gave her some of their power. So she starts realising that she has Tamlin's power to shapeshift and she has Rhysand's power to winnow. So she's a really interesting character to follow throughout the book because she grows so much and she learns so much about herself and the person that she's becoming. Rhysand as well, I love that we got to see his real character in this. In the first book he's very much a plot device. He's there to make sure that Feyre survives the trials. And you get to see a bit of him and you kind of get to see a bit of his goodness. But for the most part, he's like the hot snarky guy who is sarcastic and a little bit mean, and he's a bad boy, and you're like, I know I'm going to like you, but the things you're doing now don't actually make me like you. That's how I felt about him in the first one. Like, I knew I was gonna love him, but I was like, you're still doing some dodgy stuff, bro. And then in this book it does get explained why he did everything that he did in the first book, which I liked. You get to see how deeply kind and caring he is, not just to Feyre but to his whole friend circle. He's incredibly cunning as well. He definitely has a dark side. He has a very, very dark side. But you get to see how he works to control it and how he learns to control it and how he struggles with it every day. I have seen some criticism of Rhysand that he's too perfect and that everything he did in the first book was explained away too well and like too conveniently. Personally, I don't feel that. I understand how you could see it like that, but I do feel like he has flaws. He does make mistakes in this book. He figures out how to deal with that, and I think he's a really strong character. And yes, he's maybe a smidge too perfect to be realistic, but hey guys, this is why we read. We read to find perfect men because they don't exist in the real world. Only very close to perfect men, like my boyfriend. That's a thing actually that I wanted to bring up. Okay, for those of you in relationships, do you find that when you read a book and you really fall in love with the male character, that they're quite similar to the person you're dating in real life? Because when I was reading this book, so many times Rhysand would say something and he would do something and I would be like, that's my boyfriend. I don't know, I just saw a lot of similarities between Rhysand and my boyfriend, and I was wondering if you guys find the same thing, that like the people you love in books are similar or have the same qualities as the people you love in real life. I don't know. Like Tamlin. I liked Tamlin in the first book before I saw what a tool he was, but I never found any similarities between him and my boyfriend, and now I found similarities between Rhysand and my boyfriend. I don't know, I'm rambling, I'm just get off that topic. On to Tamlin though. Gosh, what a douche. While I was reading the first book, I knew that everyone loved Rhysand and everyone hated Tamlin, so I was like, okay, he must do something in the second book. I actually thought he was going to have an affair with Ianthe, not gonna lie. Speaking of which, can someone please kill her? She's so annoying. What a bitch. What he does is so much worse. Oh my goodness, like stifling her and controlling her and emotionally abusing her and making her such a wreck. Just can't. And I understand that he wants to protect her because he thinks he loves her, but no, don't do that. Don't lock your girlfriend in the house. Did not like him in this book. So now that Feyre is back in the Spring Court as Rhysand's spy, I really hope that Lucien learns to stand up to Tamlin a bit more, because he's a really great character. I really like him. And I just didn't like him in this book because he was such a pushover, and I really would like to see him learn to stand up to Tamlin and become like an aide of Feyre's and help her spy. And yeah, I think that would suit his character for one, and I also think it would be a really great twist to the story. I have heard that Sarah J Maas writes really good relationships, and you saw a bit of that in the first book, that it took her such a long time to warm to Tamlin, and it takes her even longer to warm to Rhysand. Like, it takes her such a long time, which I guess makes sense because of what she feels like he did to her in the first book. But the way their relationship blossomed and grew, it was just a bit too slow for me. I say I hate insta-love because it's so unrealistic, but then when I start reading a book and it takes the characters 350 pages to get together, I'm just like, come on, give me love, I want to see love. Like, all I wanted was to see their cuteness, and it took such a long time to get there. Like, oh, because there's so many moments where it's close. There's so many moments where you're like, he's gonna kiss her, or he's gonna tell her that he loves her, or she's gonna kiss him, or she's gonna pounce on him and rip his clothes off, because that is something she thinks about a lot. And it just takes such a long time to happen. I just wanted it to happen. And then when it did happen, it was magical. When their mating bond snaps into place, just when he tells her everything that happened, and then she gives him the food. Oh, it's all the feels. They give me all the feels. I love them. They're so cute. Also, remember how I said in my review of the first book that the sex scenes in this are not for young adults? Yeah. They get more intense. Feyre's literal afterglow. There's a power she never expected to get from the Day Court. I love that we got a Rhysand chapter at the end, even though it was only like 2 pages and it was just so that they could explain what happened. But guys, just his POV, I really hope we get more of it in Aka War. I think it makes sense that we would, because they're going to be separated at the beginning of the book, so I really hope that she uses that, but I also hope she doesn't use it as an excuse to keep them separated for longer, because people do that sometimes. They're like, oh well, you can just keep the characters separate because you're telling both of the stories at the same time. No, I want my babies back together soon and healthy. I haven't read the Throne of Glass books, so I don't know if she's very prone to killing off her characters, and I know that she's never done a finale before, so people have said that like we have no idea what to expect because we've never seen an SJM finale. You know, it's not like Veronica Roth where you know she's gonna rip your heart out. We don't know. She could give us a happy ending. I really hope she gives us a happy ending, guys. I'm gonna be like, it's gonna kill me if anyone I love from these books dies. Anyone. And if my OTPs don't all get together, it's not gonna be okay. But basically, I just really loved this book. The writing was even stronger than it was in the first one. The world building was even better, the character development was amazing, the new characters that she brought in were great and just funny and completely complemented the main characters. Oh, I'm so excited to see where things go from here. Terrified, don't get me wrong. Let me know your thoughts on the book in the comments. Leave me links to your reviews, written or videos, because I really want to talk to more people about this book. Even if you absolutely hated the book and you disagree with everything that I said, it really interests me when people hate books that I enjoyed. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye!